Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 137. Aaron, we've had another week of games where the Sharks did better than 500. I'm super happy to hear about that. So, I don't know. I guess, was this expected? Were we expecting to see them going through this bit of a homestand here and playing well?
Well, and I'm happy to see them beat Calgary. I think we talked about this at the end of the show last week, about this month, or the last of the month being the all home games and playing against mostly division opponents here. Calgary was at the top, and they are no longer at the top as of tonight. So good on the Sharks, because that was a 4-point swing in the standings. So they're hanging in there with the best of them, and it's really good to see them beat Calgary. I knew it was going to be a tough game. Having the Sharks beaten Calgary in Calgary before that as their only divisional game, I think Calgary was coming out to
give it to them.
Yeah, exactly. Like revenge in a way, right? Like, we're going to take away your home game. So I was actually at that game. That was fun.
Oh.
I was there for a work event. So unfortunately, I didn't get to watch a ton of it because I was, mingling with people. Yeah. And but it was good. It was a little sad to see how little attendance there was in the game. I think part of it is, obviously because we're still in COVID, that's part of it. But part of the problem of having so many home games in a week, right? Like there was 3 home games this week, 2 more next week, 2 the following week. So there's so many choices of games to go to. I think that kind of hurts a little bit. But it was a Tuesday night game. But yeah, anyway, very happy to see. And I did not throw my hat, unfortunately. I did not. I was kind of far away, so I would never have made it to the ice anyway. But
the fans will help you out, though.
I know.
You toss it.
It was a free beanie night. We got beanies. So
there are lots of beanies on the ice?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, cool. Well, we're going to talk more about the schedule and about the Pacific Division standings specifically a little bit later on in the show. But for now, I want to remind you guys that if you are not subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do that now, because as we continue to go live here, we will be able to tell you when we're going live in your inbox. You can pop in. Make sure that you're got that notification bell checked. And you can pop in and have comments with us, have some chat, ask your questions. We'll give you our answers, whether they're right or wrong. We'll kind of just...
Mostly wrong.
Yeah. We do a good job of playing it up like we know what we're talking about, though.
Right.
It's not bad.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. So, please feel free to do that. Also, if you can, more importantly than anything else, if you can share the link. So if it's on Twitter, if you can retweet it. If it's on Facebook, you go ahead and share. I'm still not sure. It's Instagram. We put on the story. Is that what we said? Put it on your story.
Yeah, throw it in your story.
Just help us get the word out that we're here, we're back, and we're here for you guys. So there you go. Thank you. First off, we want to start off talking about, of course, the guy of the Sharks right now getting the most attention. Everybody's talking about him. Everybody wants to talk about him. Tomas Hertl, right? That's who we're talking about, right?
Totally. Yeah. Hertl power.
Yeah, Hertl power. Okay. I don't know what I got a weird look over here.
We're going to be talking about a guy who's probably going to get traded, right?
No, we're not. And I have words to say about that. Tomas Hertl, 5 goals in the last 3 games. And not like you had said earlier, like it was a 4-goal game and then a hiatus and then maybe picks up 1. But, scoring consistently. So,
yeah, he scored in every game this week. Yeah. All 3 games. Mm-hmm. So he started out with a hat trick in Calgary, or against Calgary. Then he got a goal against Minnesota and a goal against Dallas. So way to be consistent. He also picked up an assist there too. So 5 goals and an assist in 3 games. It's 2 points per game. That's a pretty good average. I don't know if that's really good for the league, but that's pretty good, right?
Did I break it?
Right.
I know.
Score? What does that mean?
Super solid. Good to see that he's kind of coming back and playing the way that we know that he can. You made the comment before saying that during the whole COVID, the guys that were out because of COVID, I should say, during that whole period, he wasn't really producing. He was having a hard time maybe getting on the score sheet there, and he had a little bit of a heart-to-heart with Bob, right?
Yeah.
And I think right after that heart-to-heart with Bob, at least right after they made it known that they had that talk, all of a sudden, again, Hertl power, right? He just comes out of the gates and he's just firing.
Well, you also have the Timo Meier line on the other line basically scoring goals, so they're kind of picking up the slack when one team does not, or one line does not. Mm-hmm. So Timo Meier is really, like, he's still producing. He's at 28 points in 23 games right now. I think this is what everyone was expecting 2 seasons ago to see, right? Like the season after going to the conference finals. Yeah. and that it took a little while. Took a while for Meier to kind of come around, but I think to me he's been still one of the most impressive Sharks that I've seen consistently play. Almost every time he's on the ice, something dangerous happens.
Are we talking about Hertl still, or Meier now? Okay,
but that leaves the top line for the other team playing against the Meier line because they need to, which leaves Hertl open on the next line to play against a lesser opponent, most likely. They also get their matchups because they're home right now. So you're going to see, I think, Hertl kind of dominate a little bit more. I mean, Meier still is too.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see both those lines kind of click in really well these next 2 weeks while they're home.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll be nice to see. Again, having Timo, this is what we had said beforehand, was that if this Sharks team is going to be at all sort of somewhat successful and in the playoff hunt, Timo Meier's got to step up. Kevin Labank's got to step up. Unfortunately, only one of those two is true. Labanc, of course, playing on the fourth line when he's in the lineup. He was a healthy scratch. I can't remember which game it was. He was a healthy scratch.
I think it was last week.
Okay, last week he was.
Yeah.
Okay, well, regardless, the point is he's certainly not being the player, the $4 million player that they thought he was going to be right now. Certainly a lot of money on that fourth line or in the press box in some nights. So, yeah, I mean, again, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, but really, if this team is going to be, pushing for a playoff spot, you really do need to have that extra secondary scoring, and they're sort of getting it. But if you throw a healthy and productive Kevin Labanc into that mix,
absolutely,
much better odds.
I mean, Labanc is sitting at 6 points in 21 games.
Yeah,
that's not $4 million worth right there.
No. I think Bonino might have more points than him now, huh?
Probably more goals for sure.
Yeah, okay. Poor Bonino.
Bonino,
but he's off the schneid, so.
He is off the schneid. 4 goals, no assists for Bonino, so less points than Labanc.
Okay.
But 1 more goal.
A lot less money, too, though.
Yeah. Half the cost, I
believe. Well. Moving on maybe from forwards, should we? Let's talk about a little bit of goaltending here.
Well, hold on.
Oh, no.
Nicholas Legan, trade value is going up for Hertl. Sticking with Hertl there.
Stop it, Nicholas.
He also said
it's been through this camera.
It's been Timo time most of the time this season.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. And 5 of Timo's 11 goals have been game winners as well. That's pretty big, right?
Okay.
there.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
I wonder how many of those 5 the game winning goals, the 5 goals that we were just talking about. I wonder how many of those were the last goal scored though, or if it was kind of like a goal that was scored, game played, then the other team scores
some
one.
Empty netters in there.
Yeah,
the Sharks,
stuff like that.
They're winning. When they're winning, it's close. It's never. There haven't been any blowouts really. Maybe one. You consider a blowout where it's more than a goal going into the third period.
Yeah.
Or more than 2 goals, I guess, would be a blowout.
Sure.
So most of these are going to be maybe pretty not tight. The last goal because of empty netters.
Yeah. Well, and again, that speaks to the offense is there.
Yeah.
But not so much so that we're going to be winning games by blowing teams away, right? So they're going to be tighter games, even if they're, it's a 4-3 type of game, right? We had a 5-3 game earlier, but that's the kind of games that we're looking at. Even if it's kind of higher scoring, we're still kind of close and tight with most of these teams.
Here's a good question from Patrick Cabral. Is it better for an elite player to play on the second line to get the mismatch? Especially, I guess, Hertl's success. I wouldn't say what would be ideal is having enough elite players to have 2 lines of them so you can get mismatches. How about that?
Well, okay, so it's not so much like a video game where you can say, I'm putting my second line out, and then they're going to put their second line out. They're going to line match based on who's most dangerous. Because then, why not put your most elite player on the fourth line, right? They're going to match up with your fourth line guys, right? No, they're not. They're going to match up with that elite player, whoever they need to put on the ice to stop him.
It's more like ice time. It's not. They don't really label them line 1, line 2.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
This guy's going to be out there. This line's dangerous. This guy is dangerous. We're going to match up against that, however that may be. That's how I would do it, at least.
Right.
So, there you go.
But I understand what your question is. Kind of like if you look at Chicago and their history with Kane and Taves when they were they're still good players, but not as elite as they used to be maybe 5-10 years ago. They, in the beginning, I think they were playing them together, and it makes a 1-line team.
Yeah.
So then they separate them because they can each drive their own line.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of similar to Hertl and Meier right now. They're driving their lines. Couture's there with Timo, but I think Hertl and he's had some good success with. I think Barabanov is on his line, right? I
Yes.
think they've been clicking pretty well. So I think to me, like Hertl is driving his own line. So they're kind of separated. They're not stacking their best players onto one line. Yeah. Like it could be because Hertl could play on the wing, so it could be Couture in the center with Hertl and Meier on one line. But that's not what they're doing here.
Yeah, totally. You got to spread the talent out a little bit. So again, hopefully everything continues to go down the same path. One more time, from the previous week, 500. This week, 2 out of 3. I mean, it's a pretty good trend to stay on, right? Better to have more wins than losses. So.
Duh.
Always.
Right.
Of course. But, just happy to see them doing that. Because, again, this is the team that everyone's been saying, oh, they're going to be bottom of the Pacific. They're, no good, whatever. And we'll take a look at the standings later on. They're not there right now. So, and in fact, they're pretty close. And they're in, like, middle of the pack. But by the numbers, they're not very far away, right? So, and again, we're going to talk about this later, too, that this month's just going to be hot. So, in terms of the standings moving around.
So hot.
So hot. So hot right now. So, let's talk about Adin Hill, shall we? Okay, Adin Hill stepping in, doing an admirable job, words. Stepping in while Reimer was out with, we thought, a sickness, but apparently it was a lower body injury. You heard him talk about this. He didn't want to say specifically what it was. I can only imagine with the lower body injury that you don't want to talk about.
It's just kind of silly. I really hate that the NHL does this. Like, it's upper body or lower body. Like, come on, like just say what like who's targeting a goalie? Like I understand for players if you like broke your wrist, you don't want to say I broke my wrist, and you're gonna get hit with your stick. But a goalie who's completely covered in pads, nobody runs at goalies. Like you could say like, oh, I tweaked my groin, but it's fine now, or I sprained my knee and now it's okay. Like and I'm rehabbed and I'm great. So I just think it's kind of silly and it's almost like a game in a way.
Yeah,
it's really annoying, really annoying. Like. I also like the other part of it is if you look at other sports, and they usually disclose what it is. A lot of it has to do with betting, like, and now that the betting is in the NHL and it's completely like they're in bed with one another and it's legal and I mean I don't really bet on stuff, but you know what I mean. Like it's now more important than ever to have as much information as possible out there, and I think that hurts the sport not having it. That's a completely different tangent. But I just think it's annoying. It's really like, oh, that guy got, he got hit in the head, right? He has a concussion. It's an upper body injury.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
I can't remember who, and I can't remember which team, but somebody said he has a body injury. Like he just didn't even say upper or lower, just he has a body injury, and it was during the playoffs, of course.
Again, I understand during the playoffs, too. During the playoffs, maybe you don't disclose it. But during the regular season, and you're a goalie, and you have a lower body injury. What, did you stub your toe one night, and you're walking in the middle of your house at night? It's silly. Anyway.
So now that we're past that therapy session, it was a 5-3 win in Calgary against Adin Hill for this week, right? Solid win.
I thought it was a good win. It was a good, the Calgary one, he battled pretty hard. The Minnesota one, I think, not that I'm not going to say soft goals, but I thought he didn't look as sharp as he did the other night.
Okay.
Kind of like one of the goals, I think it was him, again, overcommitting, overplaying one thing, and they kind of had like a tap in on the back end. I think that was the first goal he gave up to Fiala. So that was like kind of like, oh, he needs better positioning, kind of work a little bit more. You can tell he's a little like not as sharp. Not as sharp as I think he could have been or should have been. So I wasn't surprised that they lost that game.
Okay.
He needed a break, and at that point, I don't think Reimer was backing him up that game. I think it was still Melnichuk.
Melnichuk, yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously were going to throw him in there. But anyway, I think he's still, to me, he's a good goalie, kind of a work in process, not someone who's ready to take over the reins. And I still think Reimer still is like that. Like he could take chunks. He's going to take, a bigger percentage of the starts, but still not going to be the elite goalie that's going to have 60+ starts in a season.
Yeah, fair enough. And he's been in the league for quite a while now. Reimer has, and just got done playing his 400th NHL game.
Amazing for a goalie to be around for 400 games. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Because again, you're not starting every single game like you would be as a forward or a defenseman. So 400 is a great. Happy for him and for his career. And
sure,
he's a great player and he's making the Sharks better. I think if it was just Adin Hill with Melnichuk backing him up, I don't think they would be where they're at right now.
Yeah, no, and what better way to celebrate your 400th game but with a win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it was a 2-1 win. So this is one where you've got, the Sharks go up 2-0, and then the goal gets scored against, right? So then it's 2-1, and you look at, game-winning goals, right? Well, that one wasn't exactly clutch. At the time, he didn't know that he was going to need the extra goal. Right. That's what my point was earlier with Timo. But regardless, low-scoring game. So he comes back, and he looks good. He plays really well. Keeps it to just 1 goal against. And the Sharks actually did a pretty good job playing defense in front of him. I think we'll be talking about that probably next here.
Right.
But, again, Reimer coming back, playing well. We feel he's more the number 1, if you will, right now than Adin Hill is. Not that there's anything wrong with Adin Hill, but we just think Reimer's kind of got the hot hand as of right now. And now that may change in a week. They may change in a month. Regardless, at this moment, I think Reimer's kind of driving the ship here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just more of a solid presence in the back. I think the team plays better, but they're also not scoring as many goals.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like, this reminds me of when was it Nabokov and Toskala were in net, and Nabokov, I felt like, was getting the shaft because they weren't scoring goals for him and he wasn't getting wins, and then Toskala would come in and they would score all these goals, and it's like, man, it's unfortunate for Nabokov because he was so good. He just wasn't getting the goal support. So I feel like it's similar, where it's like, wow, they're going to win these games like 2-1 with Reimer and net.
Yeah.
And with Adin Hill, it's going to be, 5-3?
5-3,
right? Like, what's more exciting?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's more nerve-wracking? They're both kind of nerve-wracking in their own way. But that's just kind of the way, I guess, the cookie crumbles.
Okay. And on that note, we'll move forward. We talked about forwards. We're talking about goaltending. Let's talk a little bit about the defense here. Erik Karlsson has been absolutely stepping up these last few games specifically. But we've seen it kind of throughout the season. People don't want to admit it. That's fine. I get it. But he's been playing extremely well. Again, you take a look at the things that Sheng Peng had brought up about zone entries. I don't know why that's not a bigger stat, to be honest with you, because that is where you get your offensive chance. You don't get offensive chances from the neutral zone. You get it coming through the neutral zone, right?
Absolutely.
And he brings that puck in across the blue line numerous times. We see it every single game. He's got that wide stance. He glides, and he just, like a breath of fresh air, just right across the blue line he does. Wow. No, it's incredible. It really is. And they give him so much respect. They just allow him to go right across that blue line. I think if they challenged him more, it'd be different. But they're afraid of what he can do. Because no matter how much the fan bases want to say, oh, it's a bad trade or he's garbage or whatever else, NHL players know. And they do. They back off of him a little bit because they're worried about what he can do to them.
It's the salary issue. That's the problem.
Yes.
Because people are still bitter about him getting $11.5 million. Which, should he get $11.5 million? That's a whole different topic. But I don't think so. But he's still a great defenseman.
Yes.
I think he makes the Sharks a better team when he's in the lineup.
I have to agree with you. And does he have defensive faults? Yes. Who doesn't, right? Especially when you're known as an offensive defenseman. Here's another thing, though, about Karlsson that I wanted to say was he's making those big passes, those long passes, those even the short ones that are just like, you don't expect it, and boom, he finds a guy that's open, right? He's doing that, but he's also kind of starting. When we talked about Burns and Karlsson, we said the difference between these two is that Karlsson's going to beat you with his speed and his stick handling and his passing, and Burns is just going to blow it by you, right? His shot's insane. Karlsson's all of a sudden starting to load up. Like, he's loading up and he's firing shots from the point now, and they're starting to go in. And even when they're not, they're creating opportunities, they're creating chances. Teams are going to have to start respecting that. They're going to have to start adjusting to that, because usually Karlsson's looking for that pass that looks like a shot pass, right? Getting down low, looking for a tip. Now he's aiming for the net. So now they're going to have to, there's a double threat there.
And that shot, man, he rips it into the top corners.
Booming.
Like, I feel like he was doing that the last 2 seasons, but missing.
Yeah.
Now he something adjusted, something changed, and I don't know if he's just more comfortable skating or something, but it's like wow, he just ripped that thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Was it the last game? Yeah, it was the last game against Dallas, right?
Yes.
Where he scored the winner, the second goal, and in slow mo you see it going like. Can you imagine being in front of the net as a Shark player, as a forward, and you see him winding up?
Yeah.
You know it's coming high, and it goes like right by the guy in his chest. It's like, whew, like good Lord.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, please. That shot, they had given it to, I want to say, Timo. They gave it to somebody else. The guy who, I think it was Timo, was standing in front of the net. But it didn't really look like it deflected to me. I don't know. So correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe it wasn't Karlsson's goal, but it was certainly his shot. And that thing was a rocket. Which again, he's aiming for the net. Whether or not there's a tip that's available in front, he's trying to score.
Caretaker wanted Middleton has been an excellent pairing for EK65.
I have to agree.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised and shocked about Middleton and his play, because I always thought he was going to be a guy that was that 6th, 7th defenseman that was in the lineup based on size for matchups, kind of depending on who they were playing.
I did not expect to see Middleton as an NHL regular.
The way he moves for how big he is, his skating is what's kind of impressed me the most, because he can move. He's not sluggish. He's not the fastest guy out there either, but you look at the guy and you're like, oh man, he's not going to get there. And you're like, oh, he actually got there.
That's a lot of beef.
Yeah, it's impressive. So I'm very happy with that. I think that's helped Karlsson, because he has a defensive defenseman that's going to be on his line, but can also handle the puck. He's not stone hands, right? Like he can move the puck, he can take passes and stuff. Real quick on Karlsson, he has 18 points in 22 games. That pace right now, he's missed some games because of COVID, but that pace is a 67-point pace for an 82-game season. That's where he's at right now. He might be getting a little bit better. Now I feel like that $11.5 million doesn't sting as much.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it doesn't sting as much. Now, is that $11.5 million worth of points? Probably not, right? But I think when you take a look at what the guy brings, and now is that $11.5 million, again, this is not, you can't adjust, okay? You can't adjust for anything. At that point in time, if you wanted him on your team, whether he was worth it or not, that's what you're going to need to pay him. Because I guarantee you, the Sharks don't do it, another team does. And I don't know. For me, I would rather have him on the team. Again, like you said, he makes the team better, period.
And again, going back to that time when he signed the extension, nobody knew COVID was going to happen, right? And they thought that revenues are going to go up, so his percentage of the salary cap was going to be less and less over the years. That's why they went big and went to $11.5 million.
So we think Karlsson's playing better. Bob thinks Karlsson's playing better, and I think Karlsson had something to say about that too, did he not?
Yeah, so they asked Bob about Karlsson's play, and he said that this is like the best I've seen him play since he's been there, since Bob's been there. So they asked Karlsson what he thought about his own play and if he was kind of getting back into that elite status or not. And this is what he had to say about it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think it's a team as a whole. I think everybody's doing a good job and making good reads in the defensive zone and really working hard at it, which makes it easier to read out there for everyone, not only me. And so I don't know if it's me playing better defense. I think it's more collectively as a group. I think that we're all doing a great job, and both goaltenders for us have played good. That makes you forget a lot of the mistakes that happen out there, and it builds some confidence. So I think as a group we feel good, and we feel confident in the way that we're defending this year.
Yeah, so he kind of, like a true NHL player, deflects any praise for himself and puts it onto his teammates. So, I agree with him. I think it's not just him. It's not just Burns. It's not just everyone back there. Everyone as in the defenseman. It's everyone. The whole team has kind of bought in finally to Bugner's style and defensive. And I talked about this in the beginning of the season. Like, for them to succeed, they can't be that high-scoring octane team anymore they used to be 3 years ago because they don't have the talent spread around the whole lineup. They're going to be winning games by a goal now instead of losing games by a goal like they were last year. Yeah. Now they're going to be on the other end of that, winning more, but also like all in defensively, new goaltending, better goaltending, which is part of it.
Yeah.
But also the forwards and everyone working and hustling, and you have Cogliano and Bonino in just for those reasons, right?
Yeah.
They're showing those young guys, this is how you play, and this is how you play this kind of game. So it's all kind of coming together and working. Now, again, this isn't going to be a Stanley Cup caliber team, but this isn't going to be a team that's bottom dwelling and having a lottery pick.
Yeah, and we've seen them fight back, right? We've seen them be out of a game and fight back, whether or not they end up losing that game or if they come back and win it. They're a team that does not give up, and that's that culture. And as far as the team defense and whatnot, we have said from seasons previous, right, with Bob at the helm, this is a team that when they get themselves figured out and they're bought into the system, and they have time to practice the system instead of like not having any time at all, being in Arizona and coming back from COVID and having guys out and back in the lineup and everything. All this other stuff that's going on. Remember, Bob didn't even have his assistant coach in one of the seasons. So like being able to have everybody there and have everybody learning it together, I think this season is kind of where you see the payoff now, right? You're seeing it start to pay off now, where they're starting to play better defensively. And I like you said, I do like that Erik Karlsson's kind of, it's not just me, and because it's true. It's absolutely true. It's not just him, but he's certainly contributing quite a bit, I would say.
And you could see he used to be the captain of the Ottawa Senators, so he's very well polished, especially with questions and media and everything. So kind of a slam dunk, easy answer for him.
Sure.
But again, like it's true. Everything he said was true. And again, NHL players just deflect.
Right.
Most of them, not every single one, but most of them will deflect. And it's not how I play in NHL. When be a pro player.
Yes, I'm the best.
Yeah.
Try to get your what's it called, social media following higher.
Well, I was trying to get traded because I got drafted by the Kings. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So. Killing me. Well, he did talk about the chemistry and being able to make good reads out there, and I think even Erik Karlsson's happy with the play of what's his name, Jake Middleton. I think he's happy that he's got a guy back there like him he can work with. Now I don't know if that speaks more to Jake Middleton and his kind of rise and being able to play, or if that speaks to Erik Karlsson and his ability to elevate. We've seen this with other players like Jumbo, right? The Jumbo effect. We've seen this with so many players that are goal scorers, and all of a sudden they're not right when he's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is kind of indicative of that. This might be the Erik Karlsson effect because again, Knyzhov, right, before Middleton, and I thought Knyzhov was a great pairing for him. But now we're seeing Middleton's kind of the same way. I'm just wondering if I were to suit up and play with Erik Karlsson, do you think I would be?
No.
Okay, maybe not. But regardless,
you're too slow.
I just think I'm not big enough to hit anybody either.
Yeah.
5'7", sorry. So
with skates.
With skates at 5'9", maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But stop hating. So again, I think it's great because Erik Karlsson is giving praise to the other players that he plays with, but he's also, I think, elevating those players and making them better. Hopefully we'll see some Knyzhov, back in lineup again soon. But that also pushes Middleton out, and so.
Or does it?
Well, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't.
I don't think it does.
Shimmick?
Probably Shimmick.
Yeah, probably Shimmick.
Which there's been some comments on Shimmick in here.
No, really. Let's jump to those real quick before we move on.
Someone said he looks like a ghost out there. Where is it?
That could be a good thing too, though. You have to remember, if you don't stand out, that means you're also not doing anything horribly bad.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh man, now I can't find it. Do you see it, Jay?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Put it on the screen.
Put it on there.
Caretaker.
There it is.
Egan.
Nicholas Egan. Shimmick seems to have to be a ghost this season. Haven't noticed much from him this season.
It's Caretaker saying that, responding to Nicholas Egan. Yeah.
So I think Shimmick was wasn't he hurt for a little while, and he didn't really come back? I thought the last game, I think it was the last game, he threw a hit against someone coming into the zone. Like he kind of hip checked him against the boards and just stopped him dead in his tracks. And even Hedeken was like on there saying like, wow, that's like vintage Shimmick that you see, and that we haven't seen in a while, and that's what the Sharks need. And I think he's probably feeling healthy finally. I think he had some concussion problems last year. Like he's been kind of beat up, but I still think he's kind of overpaid for being a third pairing defenseman.
Sure.
But it's funny because he's paired up with this other.
I was going to say there's another third pairing defenseman that's probably a little more overpaid than he is.
Right.
But,
yeah. That's a whole nother topic there. You want to go back to Hertl real quick? There's a comment here from Harrison saying, I say if Hertl doesn't want to be here or has doubts about re-signing, any doubt at all, trade him. Do not lose him for nothing. Either sign him now or trade him away. Don't let it go to free agency.
It's not them saying we're just going to sign him now. He has to agree to it too, and it has to be negotiations.
More complicated than that. Yeah.
It's not NHL 22 sign, right? It's different. So I'm sure Doug Wilson's made it very clear how he feels about Hertl and that the Sharks organization wants Hertl to be here and to stick around. If they want him to stay here, what they need to do is show that there will be a competitive team next season. That's what they need to do. Even this season, if they just make playoffs, right, before trade deadline, if it seems like they're going to make playoffs, they probably won't trade him just because if it looks like we're going to be there, we're going to need him, right? If you get to the dance,
you have a chance.
You got a chance. So I just don't see that happening if the Sharks look like they might be a playoff team. So I don't think Hertl's going anywhere because, again, I'm saying the Sharks are going to be a playoff team. The Sharks are not going to get bounced in the first round. I'm sticking to that.
Woo, man.
Sticking to it.
See, I don't know if they're going to make it. I think they're going to be a bubble team that's going to drop at the end. I mean, this month is going to be telling.
Yep.
But there's going to be a lot between now and the trade deadline. And I think that's the bigger deal is they're kind of in a holding pattern. They're not going to trade him now. If they do, they're throwing in the towel for the season. There's no way. The first priority would be to get Kane out. If they get Kane out and they're able to trade him and get his salary out, depending on what's coming back, like that could really change the season. Seriously, like
no, it can.
If you get anything other than a bag of pucks. Right?
Do we want to talk about this now? Because we'll talk about it later.
We can talk about it later. I'm just saying, like, the Hertl trade and the whole thing right now with Hertl is still on the back burner for a while, for months.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend on where the Sharks end up in the standings by then.
All right. Okay, so we'll talk about Kane a little bit later on. But are we done basically with Karlsson? Then we're happy with everything he's doing so far.
I am. If he keeps this up, man, he's going to be a 60-point defenseman by the time the season's over.
And that's the thing to remember. Yes, it's $11.5 million, but he's also doing it from the blue line. He's not a forward.
So how many 60-point defensemen are in the league right now? Maybe less than 10?
A little handful.
There's some, but there's not. It's not a lot.
Not a lot. So, and yes. Before I know what you're going to say, they're all getting paid less than $11.5 million a year. I get that. But again, you go back to what you had to pay him if you wanted him on your team. And that's what he was going to get from any other team that wanted him. Just how it is.
Right.
So I'm happy he's with us. I know you guys, some of you aren't. I don't know how to console you, but there it is. Okay, moving on from Karlsson and defense in general, let's talk a little bit about schedule, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, so the schedule that's coming up. First of all, the Sharks get a bit of a break here because they've only got Tuesday, Thursday game. Usually it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They're getting Saturday off here, so a little extra rest.
Yes, they've been playing. I mean, what Bugner's going to say here, I think, is almost every other day for 30 days, 28, 30 days, something like that. Like that's pretty brutal, man.
Yeah.
So they're going to get a little bit of break because it's only Tuesday, Thursday this week, Tuesday, Thursday the following week. So that's 2 Saturdays in a row. I mean, the second Saturday is Christmas. So it's 2 Saturdays in a row that they're not going to be playing. That's only going to help them because anyone who's kind of banged up is going to get some rest. Not injured per se, but you get bumps and bruises along the way. Especially those younger guys that are not used to playing a brutal 82-game season. They're going to get some rest. I think we're going to see a little bit more jump come out from those guys. Plus, and they're home. They're not on the road, so they get to be home with their families right now. Yeah. During Christmas time, they probably have a bunch of family in town staying with them because they're here for a while. So it's all good for their mental health, mental well-being, which is very important. We saw how bad it was the last season and a half.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's only good things for the Sharks, and it's looking up for them, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just need more people in seats at the arena, which, speaking of, we collectively will be there.
We will.
On Tuesday against the first ever game against the Seattle Kraken for the San Jose Sharks, which is exciting. It's a historical game.
Now, the special thing, other than it being the first game against the Kraken, of course, is that it is the Pride game.
Yep.
You know more information about this, so if you want to kind of relay that to the folks here.
Sure. Okay. If you bought, I don't know if anyone in here, actually, you should tell us if you bought a ticket with us.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And we'll see you there.
Actually, should we do roll call?
Let's do roll call.
Okay, we'll do roll call, and we'll add that in there if you are going to the Pride game.
Sure. Tell us where you're watching from right now, and if you're going to be going to the Pride game on Tuesday night against the Kraken.
If so, let us know. I'm sure we'd just rhyming. I'm not even trying anymore, and it just comes out in a rhyme. If you are going to be there, let us know, and we'll happily meet up with you guys maybe during an intermission or something like that.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah,
good
take
stuff.
a picture, hang out.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay. What else were you going to say about the Pride game there?
There's a reception beforehand. It's in the arena. So if you bought a ticket, you're going to get instructions. I think it's in one of the suites. Is that right? I can't remember. I got the email. So it's like a good hour and a half before the game starts. And then after the game, and don't forget to sign your waiver if you're going to do it, we're going to take a big picture at the center ice logo. So we were there a couple years ago, pre-COVID. And they basically go around the circle of the face-off circle in the middle. And then they take a picture from like way up high so you can get everybody in the big picture. So we'll all be there. And we'll be there.
Yeah, this would be my first one, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
It's going to be cool getting down on the ice. Still haven't seen the locker room. Just saying.
It's not going to happen.
I don't know if anybody important like Jonathan Becker might be watching, but that would be cool, just saying.
Right.
Anyway. So we were talking about the schedule, and you had mentioned Bob talking about this.
Yes.
We have a quote, though.
We do, from Bob.
Okay.
From the man himself. So Bob Bugner was asked about the schedule and if he was excited and kind of what his thoughts were about it. So here we go.
No, you got to give me a second.
Oh, just kidding.
We need to give Super Just Jason a second, so we're going to do that by filling it in with time and showing you a screen that has nothing to do with anything. We'll roll it away. Or don't. We're going to pretend. There we go.
That's absolutely. We talked. The players know the schedule. It's an opportunity next week to finally get some rest. And there's no easy games. Seattle's playing better. Vancouver's playing better. So that's not. We're not looking at the schedule saying it gets easier for us, but it's the fact that we get more rest. And this team needs it. I think we play our big guys a lot of minutes. And we've had a lot of travel to the East Coast a couple times, and I just think being back home, and that's why tonight's really important. I think that we have a good effort and we give ourselves a chance here, and hopefully get 2 points because it's a long time to sit around and think about it next week, and it's going to be nice. Sort of, I know guys have family and friends coming in and everything for Christmas, and it's going to be nice to sort of be able to take a breath and physically get a rest.
So are we back? We're back?
I think so.
Yeah, so you heard Bob there talking about, we need it. We need the rest.
Yeah.
They play their big players quite a bit there. Although I thought, again, that, the Bonino line, although he's kind of been playing on the fourth line now, they've been taking some of the defensive zone starts as we thought they were going to, right? So they've taken a little bit of the load off, but again, they're still relying on those top guys quite a bit. So to be able to have a game or a week like this week coming up where we've got just the 2 games and get that Saturday off is going to be big, I think, for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, a well-rested team is going to go a long way. So hopefully they can keep the momentum going too and not lose too much from being off.
And then I also want to bring, I'm pull up my phone here. I want to bring up that it's the Pacific Division.
Yes.
Super tight. When you take a look, you see the Ducks are in first here. 30 games played, 37 points. Now, they do have the most games played out of any of the teams in the Pacific. But then you got, next in line there are the Flames, who we just beat, and you just got talking about that being a 4-point swing. Because, if they get that win, now they're up at 38 points. They're back in top of the Pacific, right? So they've got 36 points. They're only one behind the Ducks. I wasn't expecting the Ducks to be top of the Pacific.
Me neither. I still think they're going to falter, but they have a lot of young guys. Zagreus being, did you see his goal? Or not his goal, his assist the other day? The
fake Michigan flip over the goal. Yeah.
So he I forgot the guy who scored it, but he saw Zagreus doing it. He goes, Michigan, 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 and he yells it out, and then he was like, oh, okay, here. And he flipped it over, and he's like, I didn't think it was going to work. And it did. It was amazing. Like, it's the Ducks. I don't like the Ducks.
Yeah.
But it's exciting when you see those guys like get so into it and excited.
Yeah.
Because when they celebrated the goal, it's just pure joy of like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, I can't believe it's just amazing. Like, my mind just exploded out of my own head. So, yeah, boo the Ducks. But I also kind of like Zagres because he's on my fantasy team. So I have like a little, like,
fair enough,
little crush on him. So,
all right.
But they're, I think they're kind of like a mix. We talked about this before. They're a mix of like young and old, and they're coming together and playing well. I still just don't see them as being that team yet. I still think they're probably another season away.
Okay.
But it reminds me of Colorado a couple years ago, which I talked about before. They're going to be good. They're going to be in the top of the division.
So you think Anaheim's fallen off the map, though?
I mean, not falling off the map completely, but I think where they belong is more of a bubble team.
Okay.
Like all around where the Sharks are, in the middle. Not the bottom, not the top, but towards the middle.
Yeah, fair enough.
And again, it's close. I mean, you look
really.
Yeah,
you've got, like I said, Ducks 37 points. Again, more games played than anybody else. Flames with 28 games played have 36 points, only just one less. And then you've got the Knights, the Golden Knights, and the Oilers tied at 32 points apiece for the 3-4 spot, and the Sharks 31 points. So I mean, again, this is. Now, the Golden Knights have 27 games played, the Oilers have 26, and the Sharks have 28. So, yes, the Sharks have played more games. But like we just heard from, they had a lot of games in a row, playing every other night practically. I don't know. I think strength of schedule maybe might come down to the wire at the end there.
It's also, we've only played now, 2 games? 2 games against division.
Yeah.
And it's 2 games against Calgary.
Yeah.
Which we beat them twice. Calgary only has 7 losses on the year. So 2 of the 7 losses have come against the Sharks, which is fantastic. To me, that's like a big confidence booster because Calgary should be at the top of the division. I think Calgary and Edmonton and Vegas is starting to heat up now that their guys are getting healthy.
Yeah.
So they're probably those top 3. And then I think Anaheim, San Jose, and LA are kind of the scraps. And LA's starting to falter a little bit too.
Yeah, I was going to say LA has only got 26 games played, so they've got a few games in hand over the Sharks at least, but they've only got 28 points, so they're 3 points behind. So I mean, again, for me, you take a look at this, they're right in the mix. All it takes is a loss here and there for any of these teams that have a game in hand, and we're still right with them.
Yeah.
So hopefully, again, having the rest is going to bode well for the Sharks here. So we'll just have to wait and see how it kind of shakes out, but. Again, I'm confident with this team. I think this team is going to do well. I know Aaron's saying bubble, but and maybe they will be. Maybe they'll be that first or second wild card team.
Hang in there all season, right in there.
Maybe that's where they'll be
above 500 hockey, but just not enough to lock in a position early. Like it's going to go down to the wire.
I don't know.
So Seattle got the memo of being an expansion team. At least they're like at the bottom of practically the league. Definitely the bottom of the division by a long shot. So the Sharks playing Seattle. Hopefully they keep that going against a team and take advantage of it. Vancouver, however, they're playing on Thursday.
Well, I was going to say that these are the 2 teams that we're playing next, Seattle and Vancouver, and these are the 2 teams at the bottom of the division.
But Vancouver just cleaned house. They got rid of their GM and their coaching staff, and they have a 3-game win streak since that happened.
Okay.
So they're kind of on fire right now. It's not an easy gimme win here. And Vancouver is a good team. They have a lot of good young players. They got Hughes, they got Pedersen, they got Besser. Bosser. He's whatever.
Like a Bowser.
Anyway, like it's not going to be an easy win here. Hopefully the Sharks can take advantage. Like I'm fully expecting 4 points this week.
I'm fully expecting 4 points as well. The Seattle game ought to be a win. Okay, ought to be. Vancouver, I know. I hear what you're saying. They cleaned house. There's players that are playing for their jobs again, right? They don't want to get traded, or they want to impress the new brass. I get that. That can only last for so long, and it's been 3 games the win streak. Mm-hmm. Okay, it ends there. I don't know if they got a game before they play the Sharks, but it ends when they play the Sharks. You can only impress for so long, and you can only ride that high for so long, and it's eventually you're going to come back down to earth where you belong, and I think this is where they do it. So I'm expecting 4 points for this week as well from the Sharks. I will be a little disappointed if we only get 2. I'm pretty disappointed if we only get 2. I'd be okay with 3, but I'm thinking 4 is more than doable here. There's really no reason why we can't. Again, I think that this team, the Sharks team, is a better team than everyone will make them out to be. I think everyone's kind of riding off of what was happening the last couple seasons. I think they're a better team than that. So I'm looking for them to have a good week here, just these 2 games. I'm looking for them to have a good outing, and I think they're going to get it. So there you go. Do you want to say anything about roll call or anything? Or
no, he was putting them up on the screen,
okay.
so, and I didn't get a chance to read too much of them. So last topic here, right?
Oh, was there something else to talk about? I don't even know.
Scott K wants to know, are there any trade rumors for Kane?
Yes. There are
Do you know the rumors?
I don't know all the rumors. I know that there's a couple teams that they had involved in potential trade talks. I know that there were some just hockey writer type people that were, hey, these would make sense. Now, I know you don't put any stock into those guys
Absolutely
at all in terms of it being a rumor, true or false. However, the ability to say, this is why it makes sense, theoretically, I'm down with that, right? That does not at all mean that this is an inside track and that, we've got some sort of inside information. It's not what it means. It just means, hey, you did a pretty good job of figuring out what would make sense for 2 teams. Mm-hmm. Guess what? GMs are doing that all the time, so maybe you have a future. Who knows? But I think that there are some teams that would be very interested in Evander Kane. I've said this before. Some of you laughed. He's not untradeable. And it seems like that might still be the case. Because at an AHL game recently, and I know you're going to say, but an AHL game recently, it was noted that there were some scouts, as there always are, but there were some scouts at that Barracuda game. Sometimes they do this for doubleheaders because the Sharks playing and the Barracuda were playing. Mm-hmm. And as I think Sheng Peng was the one you had said it's right, that they book everything, way in advance. So for them to say that, oh, there's scouts there and they booked their flights yesterday, and they're here to specifically see Evander Kane play, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
I understand that. I get that. Who were the teams that were most rumored to be in on Evander Kane?
Was it Vancouver, Penguins, Islanders?
I thought it was Boston, Penguins.
Boston was another one I forgot.
Yeah. So let's take a look. I'm going to look at the board real quick over here. Don't judge. On the board over here, we've got where the scouts are from. Boston, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Nashville, Toronto, Dallas, whatever. Okay. I don't think it's super coincidental that Boston and Pittsburgh are among those teams in that list. I just don't think that that's the case. Now, I'm not saying they bought their flights yesterday and they flew out, but I am saying they're looking at Kane. Whether or not they were going to be there in the first place, regardless, they're looking at Kane.
I don't think they're just looking at Kane.
Oh, no, they're not.
Because they're going to have to know there's going to be other pieces involved.
Sure.
So they're going to want to know other players as well.
I guess my point is a team like Toronto was there. Toronto's not looking at Kane. They don't need Kane. They don't want Kane, right? Toronto's not there for that.
They could also
but there are teams that are there for Kane.
But the team they were playing against
yes.
was Vancouver's team.
Right.
Who probably is also going to be moving a lot of pieces with the new GM and coaching staff in there. So, and they're also they're going to be out of a playoff spot, so they're probably going to be selling off pieces anyway.
And yet the point was that they were there for a double header, not in Vancouver, in San Jose.
Well,
curious.
Whatever.
Just saying. Just saying. I want to stir the pot, but I'm going to stir it.
You're so dramatic.
I'm trying to be. It's fun. You know why? Because you stir the pot, they start talking.
Right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right.
I want to hear your comments on this one, guys. Do you think that Evander Kane is untradeable, first of all? Second, do you think there's any weight to the fact that it's Boston and Pittsburgh were there, and it was heavily rumored that Boston and Pittsburgh were interested in Kane? Now, whether or not they're going to be there anyway, okay, whether or not, doesn't matter. Do you think that they are there looking at Evander Kane? Or do you think that they're there just, we're going to be here anyway, we're looking at everybody else, we don't want Kane?
No, there was something funny in here. From Nicholas Egan, the CUDA gave Kane the puck from his first AHL point from tonight's game. Because he never played in the AHL before until now.
That's great.
Because he went straight to the NHL from when he was drafted.
That's great.
So that's kind of funny. I wonder if he'll do that. If he'll keep it, or if it's kind of a slap to the face.
I don't think it's a slap in the face. I think it's kind of it's a ribbing. It's a joke kind of thing, it's almost like hey, you've made it, right? But it's kind of backwards. So I think they're just kind of having a little fun with them.
Kellen Foster asked, well, he just got here. Did we play the clip of Kane getting visually upset at Sheng Peng while answering his questions? No, we did not play that clip. I did not get that clip together because I just saw it before we did the show, so I didn't have a chance to kind of get it queued up or anything. But Sheng was asking Kane kind of almost like leading into... You could tell sometimes when reporters do this...
a chemistry question?
No.
No, it was everyone. Okay.
It was... but you could tell, like, I've seen Kevin Kurz kind of get ripped by some players because they have like an angle for a story, and just based on the questions they're asking, you can tell what the angle is. So they're trying to get quotes to kind of help support stuff. And Kane was just not going into it. There's also a history between, I think, Sheng and Kane going back years to when Sheng was on Fear the Finns. So there's some bad blood, I think, between those guys anyway. But you could just tell he was so annoyed by Sheng, like just like his mere presence of being there, he was just not happy. But yeah, I did not play it and won't play it because I don't have it ready. So
I remember.
You can go look it up though.
I remember Kurz asking Kane a question. I don't remember what the question was, but Kane's response was like, "You just write whatever you want anyway, so I'm not going to answer your question." It's
yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, dude. Yeah, no, it was kind of one of the first times and it was because I was on that call too. So I'm like watching it live and everything, and I'm just going like.
So like Sheng was asking him like because there was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
So they were both at practice at the ice center. Then they're both playing at the game at the arena, and the locker rooms are semi close. And Sheng was like, "Well, did you run into any friends? Did you see any players? Did you talk to anybody?" And he's just like, "No, Sheng. I play for the Barracuda now. I don't play for the Sharks." Like it was just he was so like it was like whoa, he's really. And then Sheng just kept. Well, did you talk to anyone else? And he's just like, no. I've made my position clear. Like it was. Anyway, it was very interesting. It was probably worth looking it up.
Okay.
He sounds very
annoyed,
stressed, annoyed at the situation, ready for it to be done. Because I think this is just going to be questions every day, similar questions. So it's just going to get annoying. So
and it's not every day you get reporters going and talking to the AHL players to get like national media, right? So it's got to be a little frustrating, I would think, especially like you said, if they're trying to play an angle. Which Sheng, I don't know if Sheng normally does that. We've enjoyed his content for years now, so not a knock on Sheng at all. But he's got a job to do. So
Anthony just asked, "Are we happy or sad that Kurz is no longer a Shark reporter?"
Oh, stop it!
I like Kevin.
I like Kevin. I know a lot of you guys don't, but I like Kevin. I think he's good at what he does, and unfortunately, the way he does it rubs some fans the wrong way because it seems like he's being Mr. Negative all the time. When really what I think it is he's just trying to be Mr. Truthful. Look, this is how bad they look right now. And I think you kind of want to have a voice like that. Like for us, we're a little more optimistic, right? We're always trying to pump the tires up. And that's what you come to watch. We're happy to provide that. There are some that they focus on more of the negative stuff. There are some that like Kevin, he'll just kind of tell it like it is, whether it's good or bad. I kind of like that. I kind of would rather have somebody be straight with how the team's doing. I have no issue with that, and I feel like there are times where obviously we're trying to be straight with him too. But again, we put more optimistic spin on it. Because I think the fan base needs that. So, I don't know. I think I like Kevin Kurz. I hope he does well. I'm sure he'll do well with the Islanders. So, and he's excited to be getting closer to home as well.
Right. Yeah. He's from Philadelphia, so he'll be able to visit family a lot easier. It's pretty close. I mean, it's kind of cool going to the Islanders because they were a good team. This year they're just in the dumpster, but they got a new arena, which is nice. It's pretty cool. So that'll be exciting. And there's some really long time deep fans that go way back to, they set a record for the most consecutive cups in the 80s. Yeah. Right before Gretzky started his tear. So there's a long, rich history there, which is cool.
Right.
But yeah, Patrick Herbal, I feel like Kurz is straight with us. Yeah, I can see that. And Kellen says Kurz does his job. His spin is very East Coast, and that's why he's going back. I could see that. Like East Coast is, like East Coast. He kind of talked about it too. Like there's more talk radio in the East Coast, I think, than out here. Out here, especially for hockey. Out here, you barely get anything other than podcasts like us. This is part of the reason why we started the show, because there's less stuff on the Sharks. So we wanted to kind of put that out there. So
the more you know.
The more you know. Yeah, there you go.
Where's our thing? We don't have the thing. Calling you out, SPJ.
Anyway, I always liked Kerr's. I'm excited for also the new guy coming in. That's
Corey. I'm gonna butcher this last name. Masisak? I don't know
how to say it.
I'm sorry, but you know what? We're gonna be talking with him sooner or later. So we'll let you guys. We'll introduce you guys to him, I suppose, unless you've already met him, in which case that's weird. But yeah, so we're hoping to talk with him real soon. So keep an eye out for that. Again, if you're not subscribed, you're not going to see the notification saying that. So please hit that notification bell if you. Oh,
people are complaining that it's falling off.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
the decals are falling.
This isn't our set. It's his neighbor.
Fixed it.
Yeah.
There you go. They said, "Oh, the fin's falling off."
Did you use snot or duct tape? For
No, there's
that?
actually tape on it, and the tape is coming off too.
There you
So
go.
I just fixed it.
Anyway, we're going to be introducing you guys to Corey hopefully sooner than later. So again, subscribe. Thank you. What else are we going to be talking about here? Anything else?
I think this. Oh, we got new gear.
Oh yeah, we have new gear. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to, if you care.
Well,
if I'm
for
going to go off
one,
camera here, but I'm
we
about to
have
go off camera. So here I go.
The water bottle that I had. This came in earlier, which is already kind of getting well worn here. Go ahead.
Saw my face going. Okay, we got. Oh man. So yeah, we got the the fanny pack. Yes.
Oh my god.
What? Wait, what? What's wrong with it?
I haven't seen that.
Those
Champion
are back in style, man.
I mean, I'm excited. Just gonna say.
Paul
So,
rocks this with his dad shoes.
You
too.
can.
Let's put a retainer in there.
Well, they're not retainers; they're aligners. Okay, so.
Don't make one of my headgear.
No, I mean it's got the 2 zips actually, so you could fit twice
Oh,
as
that's
much,
fancy, man.
twice as much stuff
And
as you
it's
could
Champion.
with a single zip.
Name brand there.
Just saying. Name brand, yeah, the Fin Factor. That's the name brand you should be focused on, my friend. Pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to using the fanny pack. I'm gonna use it. I don't know what for just yet, and I don't want you judging me either.
Over the shoulder. Definitely over the shoulder.
No.
Not around the hip.
No, it's called a fanny pack, not a sort of half back shoulder.
Are you
pack.
gonna rock that on Tuesday night at the game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Packet full of stickers.
You got
Give
it,
out to
dude.
people?
Hey, if you see me at the game, I will be rocking this, and this will be filled to the brim with stickers and what else? Maybe some dum-dums, okay, for the kids. I'll have
Say,
some
what else can
dum-dums.
we fit in there?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think
I
we
can
have
fit all
anything
kinds.
small.
It's got 2 zippers, Aaron. 2, okay? So there, very exciting. And then also the sweatshirt, which I don't know if you want to get over here. Yeah, I'm just going to put that right in front of my face.
Lower,
Hopefully.
lower.
Oh, my God.
There
There
you
you go. So that really looks weird unless you show the hood. There's the hood. There you go. So, yeah, hoodie, gray, got the Fin Factor logo on it. Again, good stuff. Feels nice, cushy. So I'm happy with this. Very nice. Anything else you want to say about it? What other stuff do we have?
Can you take the Fin Factor gear into the SAP Center? Absolutely. I think.
Oh, because it's not clear.
It's small. No, it doesn't have to be clear. I think it has to be a small size, and I think this
Oh, okay.
definitely fits in there.
Worst case scenario, they say no, and you can meet me in the parking lot. And I'll give you some.
Real quick, there's a question about Bordelot. He was left off a World Juniors team. Are we surprised by that? So I saw that right before we went live, and I was like, oh, what happened? Because I think he was on the team, and they took him off. I think he's sick. I think he's either sick or hurt or something.
Okay.
Because he was also gone from his college team. So so I think it was something to do with an injury or something.
Okay.
And there was another question in here about Eklund sent to Sweden to keep him away from being influenced in the game from the Barracuda. No, he was
From
not.
influenced what?
From Kane.
Oh.
No, they wanted him to be over there. We talked about that before. I thought there was another one here about
Can I
Eklund.
just say, by
but
the way-
Eklund will be on Team Sweden.
Can
Go
I
on.
just say, by the way, what was the speculation, at least on this show, about Evander Kane, that they were going to push him down to the Barracuda? You thought he wasn't going to report.
That was an option to get out of his contract where
Yeah.
he wouldn't report and he gets suspended.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Whereas I felt he needs the money, he's going to play. Right. Just going to do that
jeez.
real quick.
Do it with
So,
your fanny pack.
yeah. What's that?
Do it with your fanny pack.
With the fan. Oh, that hurts. No, so yeah, I'm glad to see that he's playing again. Again, I wish the best for the guy. I hope he gets the trade he's looking for and he's successful for the rest of his career. I really have no ill will against him, but yeah, I just think it's not going to work out in San Jose one way or the other. So.
I mean, Navy 47 keeps asking like what he did wrong, and he doesn't understand why the hate. But
yeah,
I think outside of the non-hockey related stuff, as a hockey teammate, he was a terrible teammate.
Yeah.
Because he was late to meetings and missing meetings, late to practice, late to games, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fake the vaccine card. Yeah, that put people at risk.
And even that feels like it's an outside thing, but it's not. It's a teammate thing because, if you've got teammates who feel adamant about being vaccinated and everything, and then you lie about that and get into the locker room, you're putting your team at risk now, right? So that's not just an outside. I believe in this and that affects me. It doesn't affect anybody else. It affects everybody in that locker room, or potentially could have if he was sick and he brought it in. I mean, how horrible would you feel if you got sick, brought it in, got your whole team sick, and you had said, "Oh yeah, I'm vaccinated."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's just, again, I don't think that you should be focused on the outside stuff, right? And Aaron's right on this. The teammates, if the teammates don't want him there, it doesn't matter what any of the other stuff that they say in his personal life, if any of that's true or false or whatever. Although, again, so far everything kind of hasn't really been proven true. So... But you shouldn't focus on that. You should focus on whether or not he's going to be somebody in that locker room that the teammates want to play with. And as of right now, it feels like they don't want him there. So it doesn't really matter how good he is. Doesn't matter how his personal life is going. It doesn't matter, and none of that stuff matters. Will he gel well with this team going forward? And it seems like the answer, no matter which way you slice it, is just no.
I mean, almost every post-game report or interview of players up until Kane situation kind of blew up more when the suspension was over. Everyone kind of talked about how great the chemistry was and how much different it is than last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like directly pointed at him, but him not being there even during training camp, like it's really set. And once they said he's not coming to training camp, I was like, he's done. He's not going to play.
I'll go out and say it. I think they are pointing it at him because it's just like saying lower body injury. They have a way of kind of pointing. You know what I'm saying? They're saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that's even conspiracy. That's me like speculating. That's just how I feel. I feel like they're saying they're saying it without saying it. Yeah. Oh man, the chemistry is just so great now. Everybody's on the same page, right? Team defense is playing better. That was Karlsson was saying too. Mm-hmm. We're all on the same page. We're making the good reads and blah blah blah. I don't think some of that is just, hey, we're just playing well together. Some of that is kind of directed, I think. So, again, if I'm assuming that's true, but them going to Doug Wilson, at the end of the season or even during the season and saying, hey, it's not working out. And again, if he's not showing up to practices and whatnot, that's not being a good teammate. If they can figure out a way to make that work, great. But all signs are pointing towards this team does not want him around.
Callan said, if Paul keeps getting these hot takes right, will he be getting a Fin Factor top hat? That flex fit won't hold much longer.
Oh no, it's not. Not at all.
They're also asking about the popcorn bucket.
Ooh, okay. What about because my head will be too big. It has to fit in the popcorn bucket.
No, it was in the back here. They were seeing it from under the table. They were wondering what it was.
Yeah, no. Bill has got so many cool pieces of.
Yeah, in fact, he just got a new one. It's the first issue of the first magazine from the first Sharks game,
which he happened to find at a garage sale.
Yeah, nuts. So I think he's going to get it framed. So it's not. It's over there, but it's not up yet.
It's already in a plastic.
I'm not going to touch it.
I don't want to. It's nice though. It's really cool.
And he's got all kinds of cool stuff, and he's adding to it. In fact, the picture behind Paul, I think you can kind of see it in there.
Yeah.
Is a picture. It's so meta. It's us on the set. Looking over the shoulder of super producer Jason looking at the set. So, and you can't see it, but this wall is all Sharks. The next wall over here is all 49ers.
I hear ya.
And then he has a big drop-down screen and plays games. It's also in front. You can't even see it because it's out of the camera. there's a pool table. It's a Sharks pool table, which I think we showed it off.
We have pictures of it.
Yeah, the first.
In fact, it's
episode.
in the picture here, but I mean, either way.
So anyway, it's a really cool space, we're very fortunate that he let us use this for our set till our real set gets built, right? Super producer Jason?
Yeah, we're I keep saying it, but we're getting closer. We're getting a lot closer. So we're hoping that we won't have to use this space for a whole lot longer, but we are absolutely grateful and thankful to Bill for letting us use this for the time being. So if you guys don't mind in the chat, maybe just give a little fire, a little applause, thumbs up, something for Bill. Say thanks, Bill. We'd appreciate that. We can share that with him. That'd be a cool little moment for him.
Yeah.
There you go. So, okay. Are we done here? You got anything else you want to address? Some questions, maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Okay.
There's a lot of questions about Eklund right now. Why didn't he play for the Cuda instead of going to, or why did he go to Sweden and not play for the Barracuda?
We talked about this a little bit, but go ahead.
There's a couple reasons. Mainly, I think he only wanted. I mean, he said this before the season started because people were asking if he would play for the Barracuda or not. Yeah. He had the option to do it. It's kind of funky because he's from Sweden, not from juniors. So if he was in junior league, in junior hockey in Canada, he would have to report back to his juniors team. He would not be able to play for the Barracuda. Because he played in Sweden and they have a deal with Sweden, and he was a first-round pick, he would be able and eligible to play the Barracuda. Yeah. If he didn't make the NHL team. He came out the gate and made the team, was on the Sharks, and then decision time came at that 9-game mark. So if he plays 10 games, his contract starts now. If they send him back either to the Barracuda or back to Sweden after 9 games, his contract won't start until next year. So then they get 3 years of him in the entry-level contract. It's cheaper rather than becoming a restricted free agent after 3 seasons from now. So it's better to do that. And then going back to Sweden versus the AHL, Sweden is a much different league. He's still playing against men. The AHL is more prospects, guys kind of like Kane, not quite, but older that are there, like either rehabbing or they're kind of in between playing on a team or not playing on a team. It's kind of more dangerous. It's a different game because it's a smaller ice than Sweden, so you get more open ice hits. You're going to get more guys trying to make a name for themselves, like a bruiser type person trying to make the NHL team is going to go after, like headhunt kind of after a very high skilled, high draft pick kid like that. They're going to, they're the bravado of wanting to hit him and knock him out and go, welcome to the game, kid, Yeah. So it's almost safer for him to go back to Sweden. The team that he's on in Sweden, they have relegation and promotion there, like every league should have in the world, but that's neither here nor there. They are on the brink of relegation, so it's good for him to be on that team to kind of play his best, to be the best player, to bring that team up and kind of be the guy, the man there. He already has a rapport with some players. Isn't Sorensen on the team? Marcus Sorensen, I think, is on the team.
Still,
So there's some, and Doug Wilson Jr. I think is going over there and visiting probably a couple times, throughout the season to kind of see how he's doing. Their season ends in April, so there's a chance that he could come back and maybe play for the Barracuda for a month or two. It's just better overall for his development to go back. There's a very long-winded answer to your simple question of why isn't he on the Barracuda?
See, and I differed with that. We talked about this. I feel like it was like a month or so ago, but I differed there. I thought that he should be playing in the with the Barracuda because the ice surface is a smaller ice surface, because he's going to have to run into players that are going to deliver those hits in a smaller space, because you want to get used to that. And if you go back to Sweden, you've got the bigger ice surface. They play more of a skill game than a heavy game. If he goes in there, he gets used to that again, and then comes back to playing the NHL. All of a sudden, you're doing that not against AHL players, you're doing it against NHL players. So I felt that it would be better for him to get used to the ice, used to the physicality, used to all that at the AHL level instead. Either way you slice it, he's going to come back a better player than he left. It doesn't matter if he went to the AHL. It doesn't matter if he's going to Djurgården. Either which way, he's going to come back a better player. So I'm happy for him to move on to back to Sweden and then come back next season. That's fine. Would I be happy if he went to the AHL and then came back to the Sharks next season? Absolutely. I think the one maybe wrong move would have been to let him stay with the Sharks. That I think is the only wrong move. Either which way, the other way, it was the right way. Preserve that contract, let that contract kick in the next season, and let him grow a little bit more. Let him be a difference maker, with whichever club he ends up going with, because it wasn't going to be with the Sharks. I think in his 9 games he had like 4 assists.
4 assists, that was it.
I think 3 of them were power play or something like that.
I think the other part of it is Barabanov was healthy.
Sure.
And I think at this stage, I'm not saying Barabanov is the same as Eklund, but you're getting the same production that you're hoping to get from Eklund out of Barabanov.
Yeah.
And you can protect Eklund and send him away.
Yeah.
So it also punts the contract from starting.
Right.
So I think he was replaced by Barabanov on that line that he was on, and it's just as effective. Now, obviously, Eklund's going to be a much better player than Barabanov will be, but that's going to be a couple years down. He's going to get bigger.
Yep.
I mean, that's the other thing. For me, being in Sweden, he's not going to get hit from those guys, but he's also going to be gaining muscle. So by the time he does come back next season, he will be physically better able to handle the rigors of a... He's going to make the NHL team.
Yeah.
He's not going to, next year. He's not going to be in the AHL.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the Sharks full time. So he just needs to get a little bit bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
The smarts are there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't teach that. He's not going to be learning anything new. It's just getting bigger and playing good hockey for an extended period.
I'm not really going to argue, but they have gyms in North America too. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, is there anything else to address
I think
there?
that's good.
We're all good. Okay, we are caught up. I love doing this, man. I really love doing this. Like
It's
this,
a lot of fun.
The recorded shows have their place and they're fun, but doing the live shows when we're able to talk with people and kind of go back and forth and bounce with them, that's for me is this show has evolved from what we were doing beforehand. Like when you first started, and please don't go back and watch episode 1. But when we first started this, that's kind of where what we were doing. We were doing these recorded shows. Super producer Jason would have to sit there for hours editing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And now it's much more on the fly. And being able to do this with you guys is kind of where I enjoy having the show right now. So we're in a good spot. And a lot of it is, again, thanks to you guys for being in the chat and having this back and forth conversation with us. So I just want to say, again, thank you so much. I do appreciate you guys being a part of the show because it's not just Aaron and I talking here. It's a conversation with everybody. So I've enjoyed it so much. So it sounds like I'm signing off like I'm never coming back. Actually, I don't know why I did it like that, but it just, I'm feeling it. So anyway, I guess we will see you guys on Tuesday.
We'll be at the game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seek us out, find us. We'll
Please.
announce something. Maybe we'll do it on all of our socials. We'll post that.
Yeah.
Here you can meet us here in between periods or something.
Probably
We'll go.
intermissions or something. Yeah.
We'll figure out a section. I think we're sitting at 208.
Okay.
So we're behind the goal on one of the ends. The end that they shoot at twice. So we'll probably be over there in that area.
Awesome.
We'll tell you where.
So again, if you're going to be there, hit us up. Let us know. Okay. I think that does it. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
We will see you guys
Tuesday or next week.
Tuesday or next, or both.
Or both.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.